Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into what I think is a truly unseen alliance. It's a partnership that's flying under the radar, but is quietly reshaping technology, finance, and honestly, the very idea of what it means for two nations to be partners.
So, what really happens when a nation's tech infrastructure becomes a tool of foreign policy? The growing alliance between India and Israel is probably one of the most fascinating case studies of this anywhere in the world today. We're moving so far beyond the usual headlines about defense deals and into something much more interesting.
All right, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the backstory of this surprising alliance, then look at the economic foundation it's built on. After that, we'll get into how they're literally rewriting the rules of finance, the blend of tech and talent, and finally, we'll tie it all together to see why this partnership really matters on a global scale.
Okay, let's jump right in. This is what I call a surprising strategic alliance. And while the relationship itself isn't exactly new, the way it's evolved recently, from just polite diplomacy to this deep, strategic integration, is what's really turning heads. You know, the groundwork was laid all the way back in 1992. And back then, trade was just a humble $200 million. But if you fast forward to today, you see this massive acceleration. Just look at the renewal of a huge innovation fund last year, and the fact that they're starting formal free trade talks in 2026. It's a crystal clear signal that they're shifting from just being friends to being deeply intertwined partners. So let's talk about the money, the economic engine that really underpins everything else we're going to discuss.
At its absolute peak, just recently, trade between India and Israel hit over $10 billion. That is a 50-fold increase from where things started. It just goes to show you the incredible potential and synergy that's there.
But, and this is a really important but, the very next year, trade dropped off pretty significantly. And that kind of volatility, that up and down, is exactly why both countries realized, hey, we need something more stable than just buying and selling stuff. We need a more resilient framework.
And this table perfectly illustrates their solution. So even with that recent dip, you can see India still maintains a trade surplus. But the real story here is their strategic response to that volatility, the planned free trade agreement, the FTA. Now this isn't just about making goods cheaper. It's about building a predictable long-term economic architecture they can both rely on. All right, so we've covered the flow of goods. Now let's get to something even more fundamental, the flow of money itself. This, right here, is where the partnership goes from interesting to truly revolutionary. To really get what's happening, you have to understand this core concept, digital sovereignty. It's this powerful idea that a nation should be able to control its own financial plumbing, to be less dependent on those big global systems that can be swayed by geopolitics.
And this slide just lays it all out. The old way, using a system like SWIFT, is kind of like sending a letter internationally. It goes through multiple sorting centers, it takes time, it costs more, and it might get stuck. This new direct UPI link they've created, it's like they built a private, high-speed pneumatic tube that shoots money directly between their two countries. It's faster, it's cheaper, and it's completely insulated from outside drama.
So how'd they pull off this financial superhighway? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. Step 1, a direct agreement between the key financial players. Step 2, the technical work of plugging in India's UPI system, and boom, Step 3, you've enabled direct, real-time payments between the two economies. It's that simple.
And here's the kicker, the scale of it all. Israel isn't just connecting to some new payment app. It's plugging into a digital public highway used by over 400 million people. This is a massive, battle-tested, continent-sized network. It's basically a glimpse into the future of digital economies. So we have a strong trade foundation and this futuristic financial backbone. Now, let's look at what's really powering it all, human ingenuity.
Both nations are absolutely putting their money where their mouth is. We're talking about a $40 million commitment to a joint innovation fund. And this isn't some handout. It's a co-investment. They're pooling their resources to create the technologies of tomorrow, together.
And look at what they're targeting. These are some seriously cutting-edge fields. From using AI to detect diseases early, to improving digital access for everyone, and even developing advanced defense tech like drone zappers. The fact that they're focusing on dual-use tech, stuff with both civilian and military uses, shows a level of strategic trust that is just incredibly rare between countries. You know, this partnership isn't just about code and circuit boards in some high-tech lab. It's about people. A new agreement is set to bring an additional 50,000 Indian workers to Israel,
This creates a powerful human bridge between the two societies, weaving their economies and really their communities together in a very real, tangible way.
So, when you start to tie all these different threads together, the trade, the finance, the tech, the labor, you begin to see the outline of a whole new model for how countries can work together.
And this isn't just about being friendly or having good relations. No, this is a very deliberate strategy with a very specific goal. And that goal is to cement a deep socio-economic interdependence. The idea is to fundamentally align their national futures.
And every single element we've talked about is a part of this bigger, coherent, multi-layered plan. It's like watching a textbook case of 21st century economic statecraft play out in real time.
So if you're going to remember 3 things from all this, here they are. First, they're building for resilience, using that FTA to create real economic stability. Second, they're chasing digital autonomy, taking back control of their financial destinies. And third, they're creating this amazing synergistic innovation, perfectly combining India's massive scale with Israel's deep tech genius.
And that leaves us with one final, really powerful question to think about. In a world that feels more and more uncertain, could this multi-layered, deeply integrated model, one based on tech, trade, and talent, be the new blueprint for how nations build alliances that actually last? It's definitely something worth considering.